Hi, my name is Greg, and welcome to the Great Buckeye Western Railroad. And as I say before every episode, it's not exactly great, but I'm working on it. This will be Phase 2 construction, episode number 7. As a refresher, Phase 1 is basically a 30-foot dogleg that allows me to run trains as I work on the rest of the layout. That's what's running right now. Phase 2 is what I'm working on, and Phase 2 basically deals with getting coal from the coal mine down McClusky Hill all the way around to the valley, into the coal yard, and eventually to the main line. Since last episode, which has been approximately about a month, pretty much what I've been working on is applying ground cover to the entire area of McClusky Hill and finishing the Rockface. So as I left off on episode 6, this is what it looked like. So the ground cover that I was going for is sort of like a rocky, clay, sandy type material. So the ground cover that I made that actually I think looks pretty good is 4 parts concrete, 1 part grout, which is mocha colored grout, and 1 part plain sand. Now the concrete, I sifted that to get out the larger rocks and pebbles, but I left some of the smaller stuff in there to give me that rocky type appearance. I also include a little coal smudge, which is basically the ground cover, but I add some black cinders to it to make it look like there's been coal spilled around the tracks on the way down from the coal mine. So that's basically what I use to get my look. Eventually I'll add a little bit of green here and there, not too much, and I'll add some type of foliage. I'm not sure yet, but I'll take care of that when the time comes. Really the challenge was getting the ground cover to stick onto the sides of McClusky Hill. So to do that, what I used was full strength white glue tight bond, and I would brush that on, and then either using a spoon or a piece of paper, I would push the ground cover onto the white glue, let it dry, and then the next day I would use Mod Podge 4-to-1 with water and kind of drip it on there to glue it in the final place. That was quite a challenge to get it to stick up top. I think it's pretty good now and it's glued into place, but it took me almost a month to get this all done. I actually have pictures and video of it on the construction phase of this video so you can see how I did it. So now that I got most of the ground cover where I want it, I'm going to have to go ahead and repaint the sky area. I have a lot of wayward ground cover that worked its way up into the sky I need to cover up. And I have 2 interesting areas here that I hope comes out, but it's basically like a landslide because of the steep grade of McClusky Hill. That is a black cinder mixture with ground cover that I made, and I've got it glued in place with tight bond, but I still have to Mod Podge it. And once it gets wet again, it tends to darken up. So I'm hoping that that looks like a darker landslide area right there. This is a little bit of a look into the valley. I got the ground cover down there and with the hill and a little bit of green on top of the hill. I do need to work on the top of these hills. I don't like how that looks. I need to cover that up somehow. But then it went all the way over to the train coal yard. So the next steps are going to be, I have to go through and clean the track. I got a lot of ground cover on the track. Once I get that taken care of, I'm going to ballast the track all the way up with the same black coal looking ballast that I used in the coal yard. I still have a couple areas to fix up, and then I need to weather some of the track. I had to replace some track that I made mistakes on. But I need to ballast the entire way all the way up, and I'm just working to the river area. Now, speaking of the river area, one thing that I did have to finish was the end of this rock face. At the end of episode 6, this was all open, basically wood showing. So I closed all that up, and then I completed the rock face using Woodland Scenics rock molds and plaster. Got them in place and glued the way I want them. And then I plastered the side with plaster cloth and plaster. Closed that up. I got my primer mix down, and then I got ground cover on it. So we're looking pretty good here. The next step in this area will be to paint the rocks, and I have some good ideas on how I want to do that. Okay, I do have to correct myself. When I say I have an idea on how I want to paint my rocks, I basically have an idea because I was lucky enough to run into a video that was produced by Dave at the Crooked River and Eastern Railroad. That video he created shows how he step-by-step paints his rocks from his Woodland Scenics rock mold, just like I have. You can see I've been practicing. I have an idea. I'm getting better, but I need a little bit more practice before I actually do it on my rock face. I have the 3 colors of paints I'm going to use. That's an excellent video. I'd urge you to take a look at it. And there's a lot of other good information on his page. So I actually put a link at the bottom of my page in case you want to take a look. I'd highly recommend it. Okay, so now for my historical quiz on great Americans that helped make America great. What is the significance of the name Eugene F. Kranz, or more commonly known as Gene Kranz? Okay, so that's it for episode 7. I hope to see you back here for episode 8 in about a month. Thank you for watching.